In a land untouched by time, where mountains shimmered like frozen waves and rivers gleamed with silver light, there existed a being of legend. Unlike other dragons of fire and fury, this one bore no scales of iron or gold. Instead, its hide was made of pure crystal, each facet reflecting the light in dazzling colours. But the true wonder lay in its power, for every single scale held the ability to shape the future. Some whispered that those who possessed a scale could glimpse their destiny. Others claimed that, by wielding its magic, one could rewrite fate itself. Because of this, the dragon remained hidden, deep within the heart of the Everglass Mountains, far beyond the reach of mortal hands. For centuries, the dragon lived undisturbed, as only the wisest of sages knew of its existence, and they understood that fate was not a thing to be bent by human will. But as time passed, the story of the dragon seeped beyond the mountains, reaching the ears of kings, sorcerers and warlords, those who desired power above all else. A cruel and ambitious warlord heard of the legend. He had conquered countless lands, leaving cities in ruin and thrones empty in his wake. Yet he remained unsatisfied, for he did not wish to rule only kingdoms, he longed to rule fate itself. When he learned of the crystal dragon, he became obsessed, convinced that a single scale would give him dominion over the future. He summoned his finest warriors, sorcerers skilled in dark magic, and an army large enough to bring entire nations to their knees. They marched toward the Everglass Mountains, cutting through ancient forests, burning villages that refused to aid them, and slaughtering those who dared to stand in their way. The mountain's creatures fled before them, their home quaking under the weight of destruction. Far from the warlord's path, a lone guardian watched from the shadows. This guardian had long kept the secret of the dragon, as their ancestors had before them, sworn to protect it from those who would seek to wield its power. They had no kingdom, no army, no banners, only knowledge passed down through generations, and a deep understanding of the forces at play. The warlord's hunger for power had upset the delicate balance, and if the dragon fell into his hands, the world itself could be reshaped in his image. The Guardian travelled swiftly, scaling jagged cliffs and crossing frozen rivers until they reached the dragon's sanctuary. A great cavern lay hidden within the highest peak, its entrance guarded by walls of ice and stone. Inside, the dragon rested in a hollow of glowing crystals, its body rising and falling with each slow breath. The Guardian knelt, pressing their hand to the cold ground. The dragon stirred. It had not seen another soul in centuries, yet it did not rise in fear or anger. The Guardian had no words to offer, no plea for it to flee. The dragon, ancient and wise beyond reckoning, knew what was coming. The sky darkened with the arrival of the warlord's army. The mountains trembled beneath their march, a sea of torches lighting their path. At the front, the warlord rode upon a beast of iron and shadow, his eyes gleaming with the hunger of a man who believed himself moments away from claiming eternity. His army surged forward. The Guardian stood alone, staff in hand, whispering to the land itself. The mountains responded. The winds howled, the earth split, and the ice cracked, sending avalanches roaring down upon the invaders. Yet the warlord's forces pressed on, their dark magic shielding them from nature's fury. Steel clashed with enchantment. The Guardian fought with every ounce of their strength, weaving spells of fire and ice, stone and wind. But against the warlord's numbers, even the greatest magic could only hold for so long. As the battle raged, the dragon awoke fully. It lifted its great head, its crystal scales catching the moonlight, scattering it across the battlefield like shards of a broken star. Its eyes, filled with the weight of countless ages, locked onto the warlord below. The warlord raised a blade infused with ancient forbidden magic. With one strike, he sought to cut free a single scale, to claim the power he had long desired. He leapt forward, blade poised. The Guardian, though wounded and weary, called upon the mountain one last time. The ground beneath them shook violently, a deep rumble echoing through the peaks. Cracks splintered across the battlefield, swallowing soldiers and beasts alike. The warlord stumbled but did not falter. The dragon spread its wings, The light refracted from its body, a blinding explosion of colour that turned night into day. The force of its presence alone sent the warlord tumbling backward, his blade clattering from his grip. The cavern, weakened by the battle, began to collapse. Ice and rock came crashing down, separating the dragon from its would-be captors. The Guardian fell to their knees, breath shallow, watching as the dragon lifted from the ground. It rose into the sky, its massive wings beating against the storm, carrying it higher and higher until it vanished beyond the clouds. The warlord roared in fury. His prize had slipped from his grasp. He turned only to see the mountain itself betraying him. The ice and stone, once steady beneath his feet, crumbled, pulling him and his army into the abyss. The ground swallowed them whole, and silence returned to the Everglass Mountains. The Guardian, wounded but alive, gazed at the sky, where the dragon had disappeared. They knew it would not return, not for many lifetimes. It would seek a new refuge, far from greed, far from those who wished to command destiny. The legend of the crystal dragon faded once more, slipping into the realm of myth. Yet on certain nights when the moon shone its brightest, travelers claimed to see a great shadow passing over the land, its body shimmering like 1,000 stars. And those who truly listened to the wind swore they could hear a whisper, a vow unbroken, a guardian's promise, a fate left untouched.